Let's take a look at creating an arpeggiator sound in Yuhi's Zebra3. Unfortunately, Zebra3 does not have a built-in arpeggiator, so this is going to be a bit of a hack. Alright, so I'm going to start from scratch. I'll right-click here to initialize this preset, so we get this basic sawtooth oscillator sound. Alright, I'm going to make use of all 4 oscillators. We get up to 4 oscillators here in Zebra, and the limitation of this patch is that we're only going to be able to play up to 4 notes simultaneously. Alright, so all 4 oscillators are here. I'm going to slightly detune each of them so they don't sound weird and phasey. So I'll move the detune up slightly on one of them, down slightly in the other, maybe leave one in the center, and let's push this one a bit further. Alright, so now the main trick to get this sound to work is to make use of the pitches tab. So there are many things you can do with these pitch modules. One of the things that we can do is decide which note on the keyboard is going to be assigned to which oscillator. So on pitch 1 here, I'm going to set the source key to lowest. So it'll only listen to the lowest note of the chord that is being played. I'm going to activate this section here for pitch 2. And I'm going to set this to the highest. And then on pitch 3, I'll activate this thing here and set this to the second lowest. And for pitch 4, set this to the second highest. Alright, so we have these 4 pitch modules that are listening to the incoming notes and deciding which note to listen to. So now let's tell these guys to control the 4 different oscillators we have here. So I'll leave this on pitch 1. I'll set this to pitch 2. Oscillator 3 will set to pitch 3. And oscillator 4 will set to pitch 4. Alright, so in this grid here, you can see the 4 are just going directly to the output. So if I play up to 4 notes, what you're hearing are those 4 separate oscillators playing individual notes. In fact, to prove that they're individually playing notes and not polyphonic, I'm going to switch this to monophonic mode. So in monophonic mode, you only hear 1 note at a time. Actually, now it's truly monophonic, right? So now you're hearing individual oscillators selecting those individual notes. Alright, so we can only do up to 4 of these. Okay, so the next step is to mute the 3 pathways here, the 3 mixer routings, and just leave 1 on. And we're going to route everything through that 1 lane. So I'll click over here and load in a mixer, the 4-in-1 mixer. So this mixer takes 4 inputs and mixes them together into 1 output. You can see here, that's the module. So a very simple mixer with simple level controls. But we can change it to the scan mode. Now this is very cool because now we can scan between those 4 outputs. In fact, we can set the blend law to switched, so it'll switch from one input to another. To verify that this is working, I'm going to set the tuning of each of these separately. So let's leave the first at 0. I'll set the second one at 7 semitones above, next one at 12, and the last one at maybe 24. Alright, so we have 4 separate oscillators set to 4 separate tunings. So now when I play a note, a single note, we're hearing just 1 oscillator. I'll move the scan knob. We're hearing the second oscillator, third, and the 4th. By the way, when the scan knob goes all the way to the highest, it wraps back to the first input. So essentially what we have to do now is to figure out a way to step through those different inputs. And it's very easy to do that with the mapper. I'm going to assign this mapper to the scan knob, increase the range to the maximum. We don't need that many steps, so I'll reduce the steps. Let's do, 12 steps. Now we can set the resolution or the grid over here, the subdivisions. 4 is good because we only have 4 of these. So, and by the way, this is bipolar, so it goes up and down. I'm also going to right click and hard snap, so it'll snap to those values. So we won't get any blend of 2 mixes. And this is set to switch, so we're not going to hear those blend options anyway. Alright, so when it's in the center, we'll just hear the first oscillator. Let's just test this out. So when I play 1 note, by the way, this only runs when you increment, when you play the same note again and again. I don't want that to happen. I'm going to assign a modulator here because I want that to happen on its own. I'll select LFO 1. And now it's kind of running on its own based on the speed of the LFO. We'll set this LFO to a square up first. Alright, so we're just hearing 1 oscillator, but if I choose the second one here, you hear that? So let's hear all of these. Let's go a bit faster on the arpeggiator. on the LFO that is. We can also go negative. We'll get the same results. And there you go. I'm just holding down one note and we're hearing that pattern. Now we're hearing the melodic pattern because of the tuning. Let's turn off the tuning or set it all back to center, the original pitch. And now when I play multiple notes, we essentially have an arpeggiator. And these steps here will define the direction, right? Are we going up or down? You can right click here and randomize it. So now we have a different shape. Now another thing we can do is to also set octaves. So I'm going to assign another modulator, another mapper that is, to control under the pitches section. On pitch 1, I'm going to control the modulation here. So in the source here, I'll select mapper number 2. Notice that all these elements are grayed out because it's just going to follow what's happening on pitch 1. All right, so I'll set the depth to 24, so we get 2 octaves. And now again, we have too many steps. Let's do, I don't know, let's do 8. So 8 steps that'll define octaves. Now we have a range of 24. So when this is in the center, it's 0. And when this is highest, it's 24. We still have 4 subdivisions. So when this is in the center here, we get an octave above, and that'll be an octave above that, so 2 octaves. If it's in between that, you get a tritone, so avoid those in between ones. I just want octaves, so I'll set it either over here or all the way up there. We can even go down, octave below, 2 octaves below, just 1 octave below, original, 1 octave up, and back down. So if I just play one note, oh well, it's not, double check if this is working. Oh well, it's not stepping through, right? So you can see the modulator is set to none. So let's click over here and then I'll select LFO 1 again. So now this is also running. Let's hear it. So we're just hearing octave jumps, but if I play an entire chord, all right, so there we go. Let's make this a little bit more interesting. Let's assign this trigger select for our main envelope that's controlling volume also to be LFO 1. So we don't have any sustain then, and then we can have like a plucky shape on the decay. Let's also add a filter to filter out the entire sound. I'm putting it after the mixer. So it's filtering the entire sound, combining all the 4 oscillators. And let's modulate this with a second envelope and increase the modulation depth here. Let's give this a similar pluck shape, and let's set this trigger source to also be LFO 1. So everything is following that LFO 1, which is defining the rate of our arpeggiation. Sounds cool. Let's wrap up the sound with some effects. I'll go to the effects section here. We can add some saturation / distortion. Maybe some reverb. Maybe some delay. So there you have it, an arpeggiator preset in Zebra3. Now if you want to learn more about Zebra3, I've created an entire course covering every aspect of Zebra3. This is quite a powerful synthesizer, and this course is over 8 hours long, covering about 43 or so separate videos. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. I also have a discount code that you can use to get that course. Alright, thank you for watching, stay tuned, and see you in the next one.